life. In your 100 days journey, spanning over about 30,000 kilometers, every place that you've gone, you've seen various climatic conditions. You've seen various people, various heads of state, various people who follow you, who revere you. But I think what is most important today is you are speaking about something that is not just relevant to the past, to the future, to us, but to life as we understand it. I was just thinking, while watching the videos, while talk and on the screen today, and of course through the songs, and I'm sure that, the Meet Brothers here, even you felt the pressure, thank you for performing, लेकिन आपको भी pressure feel हो रहा होगा कि rockstar के सामने कैसे perform करे. मुझे एक advantage था जब आपने मुझे बुलाया कि मैं मास्क पहन रहा था, तो मेरी आवाज शायद आपकी आवाज लग रही थी. लेकिन आज मैं यही सोच रहा था कि हम जब देखते रहते हैं, दुनिया में खोजते रहते हैं, अन्य सारे प्लैनेट्स पे जाते हैं और खोजते हैं कि यहाँ पानी है कि नहीं, लाइफ है कि नहीं. मुझे लगता है थोड़ा भी परसेप्शन चेंज करना चाहिए, थोड़ा हमारा फोकस चेंज करना चाहिए. यही ढूंढना चाहिए कि मार्स हो, वीनस हो, मून हो, वहां पानी तो शायद हो सकता है, लेकिन सॉइल है कि नहीं. जिस जगह में सॉइल मिल जाएगी, वहां में लाइफ मिल जाएगा, वहां जीव मिल जाएगा. कभी कभी ऐसे होता है कि हम इंटरनेट पे ढूंढते रहते हैं, बोलते रहते हैं, कभी कभी यूट्यूब पे देखते रहते हैं. गुरुजी, हम आपकी वीडियोस और महाशिवरात्रि के वीडियोस काफी सालों से देखते आए हैं. जब भी आपको स्क्रीन पे देखते हैं तो नमन करते हैं. आदि योगी का जब स्टैचू देखते हैं वहां नमन करते हैं. लेकिन मुलाकात कभी पहले हुई नहीं थी. शायद यही एक वक्त आना था, आपका बुलावा आना था, जब हम डावोस में पहली बार मिले और आपने मुझे कहा कि सॉइल के लिए कुछ करना चाहिए. अगर ऐसे देखें तो जूही जी ने भी कहा है कि हम सारे लोग जो है, जब तक हम लास्ट रिवर को पोल्यूट नहीं करते, जब लास्ट पेड़ को नहीं काटते, आखिरी पेड़ को नहीं काटते, हम सोचेंगे कि तभी हम सोचेंगे कि पैसे को हम खा नहीं सकते. और ये सही है. कभी कभी ऐसे बोला जाता है कि पॉलिटिशियंस पैसे को खा जा सकते, लेकिन पॉलिटिशियंस भी पैसा नहीं खा सकते. तो कोई भी ये ना सोचे कि हम जो भी हमें सॉइल देती है, हमारी मिट्टी जो देती है, वो छोड़ के कुछ और कहीं खा सकते हैं. लेकिन गुरुजी, जब आपका बुलावा आया, हमने जब आपसे मुलाकात की डावोस में, वो कांग्रेशनल सेंटर में, और तभी आपने मुझसे कहा कि जून 12 को मैं आ रहा हूं, मुंबई आ रहा हूं, तो हमने कहा कि स्वागत तो करना ही आपका. लेकिन मैंने आपको पूछा कि कैसे पधारोगे, और जब आपने बाइक कहा तो मैं सोचने लगा कि गुरुजी कैसे बाइक पे आएंगे. ये पूरा जो एक जर्नी होता है, हम तो प्लेन में जाते हैं, 8 घंटे की जर्नी हो और थक जाते हैं. कभी कभी सोचते हैं कि चलो अगले दिन रेस्ट ले. लेकिन आज भी जब आपसे मिले तो एक प्रेरणा लेके आगे चल रहे हैं कि हेड्स ऑफ स्टेट हो, कोई भी इंसान हो, महिला हो, पुरुष हो, हमें काम करना है, वो खुद के लिए करना है. एंड जूही जी, व्हाट यू सेड इज ट्रू, दैट टिल नाउ वीव ऑलवेज हर्ड that whatever we've inherited is not from the past, it's about borrowing from the future. But what I tell everyone when I speak about the planet, what I tell everyone about doing something for the planet, we're not doing something for the planet. We're not doing a big favor by protecting our soil or water or air. We're not doing it for the planet, we're doing it for ourselves. I think the first thing we need to understand and realize is, in a generation before me or 2 generations before us, maybe 40 or 50 years before we came onto this planet, it was easier and it was okay to say that we're doing this for the future generations. We've come to a point of inflection, we've come to a critical point on our planet today that if we don't do it for this very generations, for the generation that we are in, we might not even see the future generation. That is what our situation is today. We do not have the luxury of time to believe that we can go on doing something for the planet maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line and the planet will be still okay with it. We have to act, and we have to act today. That is the point that I'm trying to make here. We're in the midst of a climate crisis. The other thing, of course, is we believe that we're doing a big favor on the biodiversity. We are doing a big favor on the plants, the trees, the animals, the birds, mammals, all of the nature around us by doing something, by planting a tree, or we're doing a big favor on someone else or planet that we're doing something for our planet and for our nature. We're not doing a big favor on it, we're doing it for ourselves. If you remember a small story that we've always heard about in our school textbooks, we've always known as basic science, is billions of years ago, before we came onto the planet, there was another species that existed on this planet, way stronger than us. I don't know about the intelligence, but yes, they were pretty intelligent. They were dominating the planet, and they were known as dinosaurs. No one thought that there would be a planet without them. No one thought that there could be life more stronger than them. And the minute there was a meteor strike or whatever science says, they were wiped out, and the planet has gone on very beautifully without them. So if we think that without the human race the planet cannot exist, we are wrong. The planet may exist even beautifully without us. And that is a thought I want to seed in your minds. I'm not going to take much time because we're here to listen to Sadhguru. Sadhguruji, we're here to take inspiration from you. But one basic thing I've realized today in our meeting and today while sitting next to you is we are soil, and that is where we come from, and that is where we eventually go. Whatever we treat as our bhumi, wherever we go in the world, we remember two types of bhumis, our janma bhumi and our karma bhumi. जहाँ हम पैदा होते हैं और जहाँ हम हमारा कर्म करते हैं और आगे जाते हैं, सक्सेसफुल बनते हैं, पैसा कमाते हैं, शोहरत कमाते हैं, नाम कमाते हैं. लेकिन परसों भी मैंने एक न्यूज़ पे एक वीडियो देखा. हमारे राष्ट्रपति जी कोविंद साहब जब अपने गांव पहुंचे, अपने घर पहुंचे, तब झुक के उन्होंने मिट्टी को नमन किया और सर पे लगाया. यही मिट्टी हमें बनाती है और इसी मिट्टी को हमें बचाना है. तो हम दुनिया में कहीं भी हो, कितनी भी दौलत, शोहरत, नाम कमाए, कितनी भी सक्सेस पाए, हमें जाना तो उसी मिट्टी में है. तो उस मिट्टी का कितना ख्याल रखते हैं, मुझे आज ये कहना है कि यही हमारी सोच है और इसे हमें आगे लेके जाना है. Guruji, thank you so much for inviting me, for giving me the honor of being a part of this movement. On behalf of Maharashtra, while coming here, Honorable Chief Minister Aaditya Thackeray ji, who has committed himself to sustainable development, be it protecting the RA forest, 808 acres in Mumbai, calling it a forest, declaring it a forest, be it protecting more than 15,000 hectares of wetlands as mangrove and putting it as dedicated mangroves, or even recently 692 square kilometers of conservation reserves. We are committed to this cause, and I'm here to say that Maharashtra आपल्या सोबत आहे, ईशा फाउंडेशनच्या सोबत आहे आणि सेफ सॉइलच्या सोबत आहे. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र, वंदे मातरम.
Shri Aaditya Thackeray ji, thank you so much for joining us as being the voice of urgency for Safe Soil. Thank you very much. At this time, I request dear Sadhguru to please do the honor of launching Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan 3, an initiative by Maharashtra Ministry of Tourism and Environment, spearheaded by our Honorable Minister for Tourism and Environment, Shri Aaditya Thackeray ji. I also request Mrs. Manisha Patankar Maiskar, Principal Secretary, Environment and Climate Change. Namaskaram. Mr. Sudhakar Bobre, Mission Director, Majhi Vasundhara Mission, to please come on the dais for the launch of Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan 3.0.
Thank you, sir, for this. This is our effort to protect 5 elements of nature. So, Bhumi is a great part of it.
I like the any button thing.
Majhi Vasundhara Abhiyan is a unique and integrated first ever exercise in India focusing on the 5 elements of nature, or the Panchamahabhutas: earth, water, air, fire and akash. It is structured to focus on 3 important pillars of climate action: carbon sequestration, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and promoting green lifestyle among citizens. Thank you very much for doing the honors. Thank you very much. Now, as part of the Save Soil movement on this historic day, ladies and gentlemen, at Mumbai, the Maharashtra government and Isha Outreach shall be signing a memorandum of understanding to rejuvenate Maharashtra soil. This moment is the milestone step towards improving soil health in the state, with the Save Soil movement and the state government working hand in hand. Thank you very much to our guests. Thank you so much for doing the honors. Yes, let's capture this moment. Mumbai, come on, a resounding applause for a historic moment. Now is the time to save soil, and this is the beginning. Everybody, raise your placards up there. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, ma'am. Sadhguru ji, over.
Hello. Yep.
कालो न जानाति तव जननम् कालो न जानाति तव समापनम् दृष्टो मया तव महाकारः योगेश्वर काल काल योगेश्वर काल काल.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram to everyone. You want me to talk about soil or you? What is that? You know, in the last 2.5 years, I've been meeting so many agricultural ministries, bureaucrats involved in that aspect of the governance across the world, environmental ministers, soil scientists, And what I realized was, everybody knows what is the problem. I'm talking about people who hold responsible positions in that aspect of life. Everybody knows the problem, everybody generally knows the direction of the solution. Then I was wondering, everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the solution, what are they waiting for? Then I realized they're waiting for an idiot to bell the cat. It's always like this in the villages. If something dangerous has to be done, something unpopular has to be done, you catch hold of the village idiot, always. Then I thought, here I am. Because soil was a very unpopular subject just 3 months ago. When I was in London, a lady journalist came to interview me and said, "Sadhguru," like this, "Sadhguru, this is the most unromantic thing that I could think that you would do in your life. Soil, of all the things in the soil, you think somebody is going to support you in this? Do you really believe this?" I said, it's not about whether somebody is going to support me or not. It needs to be done. Whether people have that much sense or not, this is a test. Then another question is always, why motorcycle? Oh, Sadhguru loves motorcycles. No, I must tell you this, I started riding when I was 12 and rode on till about 27, 28 years of age. After that, 32 years, I never got on a motorcycle, never even thought of one, because my work kept me busy. It's only during Rally for Rivers when I was in Bangalore, because in that area, that region, people know about my riding in the past. For about 4.5 years, I literally lived on a motorcycle at that time. They said, "Sadhguru, you must ride." I thought, after 32 years, am I going to ride once again? I was saying, do I need to really ride? What's the point of this? They brought a motorcycle and said, "You must ride." I sat on it and I realized I have not lost a day. So since then I've been traveling only on motorcycles everywhere, both in India and outside, because also this pandemic came and everybody said you must keep social distance. I thought the best way is to ride fast on a motorcycle, lot of social distance. And 2.5, nearly 3 years, 2.5 years since the pandemic broke out, probably I'm one of the few that even the damn virus has not shown any interest in me, never got me. So there are many aspects to life which we are ignoring in serious ways, for which there is a price, already we are paying the price. Pandemic is one of them. When we talk about pandemic, we must understand, you can give it whatever names you want. Essentially, it's a respiratory tract infection. You don't need an expert virologist. A simple doctor will tell you that in your food, if there is no vitamin A, vitamin B6, B12, vitamin D, vitamin E, iron, folate, zinc, magnesium, you will be far more susceptible to respiratory tract infections. This is a known fact. Today, these micronutrients, in most countries it's not been measured, so we don't know exactly what's happened. But in United States, in 1 century, from the beginning of 20th century today, the drop in micronutrients in vegetables and fruits is 90%, 90. And you see, one of the most affluent nations, worst hit by the pandemic. One important aspect is lack of nourishment in the food that you eat. You may be eating good food, you may be eating expensive food, but is it strong is a question mark. Big question mark. Is it strong enough to make this life a strong life? When I say strong, I'm not talking about only do you have pumped up muscles or not. Life has to have its strength. The life process is strong within you. Well, suddenly in the last 2-3 years, everybody is talking about it. What is happening in your gut is more important than what's happening in your brain. If you have ever been to an Ayurvedic doctor or a Siddha Vaidya or even come to a yoga program, if you complain about anything, if you have any kind of problem, even psychological problems, first thing is, we will purge you, because a clean colon and health are so directly related. But the problem is, it has to go through $1 billion research process. Everybody has to live. Only then it becomes real. Like somebody was telling me, in United States, that year, I'm talking about 15-20 years ago, I was speaking to a doctor and the big problem of irritable bowel syndrome. I said, what is it? You got irritation in the wrong place. I said, I'll solve this. This $12 billion you're spending on some research and something else, you give half of it to me, I will solve it for you with a simple suggestion, and it'll be over. I'm saying, things that we have known forever, unfortunately, we are piece by piece rediscovering it. It has to come from a prestigious university, otherwise it's not true. Why am I talking about this now? Because in the month of January, COP26 happened. I don't know if Aditya also went there. So, 2 weeks, the whole world assembles to discuss climate change, global warming and whatnot. And everybody has a role and all kinds of activists on the street screaming, and inside people talking endlessly for 2 weeks. And the head of that organization which runs this convention, I meet and ask, what happened in COP? Great Sadhguru, but on paper. These are his words. I said, why are you saying this? Really, Sadhguru, very successful, but just on paper. I said, what's the point? Paper is also one of the problems. More paper and more paper, what is the point? I met at least 4 to 5 environment ministers representing different nations, every one of them telling me, 2 weeks we were there, we did not hear the word soil. Why is it? Because if you knock on oil industry, it spills dollars. If you spill an automobile industry, it'll spill money. If you try to knock on the farmer, you will get beaten up. So nobody wants to talk about soil because there is no money in it. Do you get it? If you want to address climate change, if you're serious, if you want to address global warming, don't go by my words. It's a monsoon has come in, you may not feel it so much, but anyway, you will still feel it. Tomorrow go somewhere in an open space. Where there is open land, where there is no vegetation, if you don't have any meters and stuff, just with your hands, just feel the soil, how hot it is. If there is somewhere little grass growing, feel the soil, how it is. If there is bushes and other things covering, just feel the soil, how it is. If there are large trees, feel the soil, how it is. You will know what is climate change. If I make you stand in hot sun in the summer and take you under the shade of the tree, you know what is climate change, 4 to 6 degrees difference right there. The soil temperatures from open, bare soils to soil with lot of vegetation and microbial activity, the difference can be 10 to 12 degrees. And we don't talk about soil, we talk about climate change. Everybody is interested in catching those carbon dioxide molecules. I thought you breathe, you need oxygen to breathe, hello? You want to catch oxygen or carbon dioxide? No, all the activists want to catch carbon dioxide. There is a reason. I'll not go into the politics of it, because for Save Soil movement, I need all those people. Every life, everything that you have ever seen as life, let me explain to you what are the lives you could have seen. You could have seen a tiny worm, a little larger worm, a tiny insect, a larger insect. You've seen a bird eating those insects, and plants and trees, animals, little ones, tiny little ones and big ones like an elephant, and human beings. This is all and fish and other stuff. This is all the life you have seen. Hello? Have you seen any other life? This is all the life you have seen. All this I mentioned, all these lives, whether worm, insect, bird, tree, animal, human, every one of them come from just 15 to 18 inches of topsoil. This is the cream of this planet. You know, these days maybe everything is coming to you, being delivered to you by some app. But in your homes, you might have watched your mother, if they handle the cream, they handle it gently. Hello? This is the way to handle the cream? Nobody digs it up with a pickaxe. Very gently. That is how everybody handles the cream, because cream is precious. It may be right on the top, but it's the most precious aspect of that. So what you call a soil or topsoil is the cream of this planet. It would take 600 to 800 years to make 1 inch of soil if there was no human footprint. With the present level of human footprint, if you want to create 1 inch of soil, it will take 13,000 years. Hello? 13,000 years to create 1 inch of topsoil. But in the last 40 to 50 years, maybe 70 years, nearly 52% of the world's topsoil is gone. Gone. Gone means where did it go away? The simple thing is this: you're growing a crop. Let's say you grow paddy or sugarcane or wheat or vegetable, fruit, whatever. If out of this land something comes up like this means at least 50 to 60% of this is just soil that's come up, right? If this weighs 100 grams, at least 50 grams of soil has come up. So if I take this away and put it somewhere in the marketplace or in my belly or somewhere else, that means that much less in the soil. When I do this for 30, 40, 50 years' time, it's gone. Does it take some genius to understand this, I'm asking? Hello? Now why is it that people don't get it? People ask me, Sadhguru, how did you get all this, Sadhguru? When did you become a soil scientist? When did you become an environmentalist? When did you become an ecologist? I am not any of these things. I am not a soil scientist, I am not an environmentalist or ecologist, definitely not an activist. I am a worm on this planet. I have crawled on this planet for 6.5 decades. I know what the hell is happening, because it happens to me. Oh, we also lived on this planet? No. Tell me truthfully, have you lived on this planet, or have you lived in your own world that you create in your head? Where have you lived? Because you're living in your own world, which is not this world, this is a complete misuse of human cerebral activity. This is a complete misuse of human cerebral capability. Your problem is your brain. Hello? You remember about 1.5 years ago or 2 years ago, unfortunately, a young lady in Hyderabad committed suicide jumping off the 5th floor of her apartment, one TV anchor. You must have seen that it was all over the television because she wrote a note. Nobody is responsible for my death, my brain is my enemy. It took millions of years of evolution, millions of years of research and development to give you a goddamn brain like this. And now you suffer it, and now it's become your enemy. And now all this is happening. Human intelligence has become a problem. You tell me, is intelligence a problem or a solution? Hello? It is the only solution. Hello? Intelligence is the only solution. But unfortunately, right now, intelligence has become the biggest problem because if you had the brain of an earthworm, you would be very peaceful and spiritual also. Because so-called spiritual leaders in the country are going about saying peace of mind is the ultimate goal of life. Yeah, such people will only rest in peace. If peace of mind is the only goal, if you had the brain of an earthworm, you would definitely be peaceful and you would also be eco-friendly. That also. Now, with such a big brain which took millions of years to manufacture, today you don't even know how to sit in one place with ease and ecologically you're a disaster, human beings. Why have we become like this? This is just this. This is the case of a potato farmer. You heard about this potato farmer? No. You're in Mumbai, you think potatoes come from where? Swiggy, Because they have never seen anything other than fried potato. Where did they see a raw potato? Ask the young people, have they seen a raw potato? No, they saw it only fried. So there was a potato farm. Shall I tell you a story now? See, you need a certain attitude to get the story right. If I say once upon a time, you must say, aha. Hello? Once upon a time. Don't do the same thing for every sentence, okay? Appropriate noises. Once upon a time, there was a potato farmer. And one day, he wanted to eat mangoes, season, you know. That's good. And he started looking for trees, mangoes, mangoes, mangoes. But you know, mango tree is obvious, it's hanging it all over the place. So he found the mango tree. But out of sheer habit, being a potato farmer, he started digging the ground for mangoes. When he found no mangoes, he became furious and dug furiously. After some time, the tree came down upon him. This is the case of humanity right now. All this has happened not because there is some evil force sitting somewhere wanting to destroy this planet. There is no one person or one force or one organization wanting to destroy this planet. There is no such evil force anywhere. It's just you and me in pursuit of happiness and well-being. Hello? Yes or no? It is just you and me in pursuit of our happiness and well-being that we are digging the planet through and through. Have you ever been happy? You can tell me, it's okay, once in a way, you can tell me. You've been happy. You've been unhappy? So whether happiness happened, unhappiness happened, it happened only within you, isn't it? So you must understand this, whether it's joy or misery, pain or pleasure, agony or ecstasy, happen only within you, isn't it? Everything. that ever happened to you, pleasant or unpleasant, happened only within you. Or in other words, human experience is manufactured within you. Is that so? What is being manufactured within you should turn out the way you want. Your factory. So, there are many ways to look at it. One simple way to look at this is a very complex chemical soup. Very complex chemical soup. If I give soup-making ingredients to all of you, same ingredients to all of you, do you believe you will come up with 13,000 soups exactly same? Or 13,000 varieties of soups? Some soups will be fantastic, some soups will be, I can do without it, some soups will kill you, various kinds. So the question is just this is the most sophisticated and complex chemical factory on the planet. Are you a great manager of this factory or are you a lousy manager of this factory? This is all there is. Because you are such a lousy manager of this factory, you're digging the whole planet upside down, thinking you will become happy by digging more. By digging more, it's not going to happen. Somebody was telling me, it seems some 1,000 or 1,000,000 light years away, there are 300 planets, just like planet Earth with the same kind of atmosphere, some of them 10 times larger than this planet. They all want to go there. I said, all the best, start the journey today. If at least half the people go away like this, the other half may come to senses, but no. I said, see, 300 is not enough. Even if you find 8 billion planets and give one planet to each of them, as long as they're in pursuit of their happiness, they will destroy these 8 billion planets in 100 years' time for sure. Yes or no? Because what should happen within, if you seek here, you will definitely end up digging like hell. That's all that's happening. So this is not an evil force. Every one of us, knowingly, unknowingly, all of us partners in this destruction. The only way to turn this around is all of us become partners in the solution. There is simply no other way. Pointing fingers is not the way, accusing this one and that one is not the way, because every one of us have done this knowingly or unknowingly, isn't it? No, I'm a climate change activist, I am doing this, I am doing that. Doesn't matter, these lights are on, something is burning somewhere, hello? Whether it's diesel or coal or nuclear or whatever, something is burning, isn't it? Every day, all of us, all the conveniences, whatever we are using, something is always burning. For that somebody is digging. It is like this, somebody has to do the dirty job for you. See, I want electricity in my house. Somebody has to dig a hole in the earth to get the coal out of there. Somebody has to build a thermal plant somewhere. They are doing the dirty job, we can say these people are evil people, but we are the consumers, isn't it? Hello? Every one of us, there's no exception. Whichever way you are living, one way or the other, we are consuming. So, this is not about blame game, this is not about being angry with somebody, this is not being about resentful about what somebody else has done, this is not an agitation, this is not a protest. This is an expression of our love and responsibility for the life that we are, and the life that's around us, and the life that should be beyond us. There are many young people here. Are there Generation Z people? Z. This scares me. Oh, there they are. Generation Z scares me, that sounds like the last generation to me. Don't call yourself Z, call yourself A, B, C, something. Or take numbers because it's infinite. Alphabet's only 26. Don't call yourself Generation Z, that's a dangerous place to go. But If we don't handle things right now means right now. If we don't handle things right, when I say handle things right, Sadhguru, shall I go and fix my kitchen garden? That's very cute of you. Because I know your kitchen garden is just one pot in your apartment with one tomato hanging there. Very cute. But that's not a solution. It's really sweet of you, but it's not a solution. Because today, 51 million square kilometers of land is being formed on the planet. If that has to change, our agricultural policies have to change. How did agriculture become like this? In the year 1918, a German scientist for the first time came up with nitrogenous fertilizer. People threw this on their land and boom, everything burst out like that. In India, there are many places where yields went up by 300%. So this powder became the magic powder. You throw this, impossible things happen. It saved our lives also, okay? It saved us from famines, it has saved our lives. Many of us are alive today because of this magic powder. So don't talk against it, there is some other way to do it. So fertilizers we started using, yields started going up. We call this the green revolution in this country. Because this green revolution was unleashed when still the hangover of terrible famines was ruling our minds. In 1942, a famine in India took 3.2 million people. 3.2 million people dying in 4 months' time, the most terrible death. I'm sorry. Because famine doesn't just kill you like that. It's not like a war. Somebody shoots you in the head or blow you to bits. That's not how it works. This is slow fade. Slowly, 3 to 4 months, gradually people die. It's the worst way to die for a human being. And people do terrible things. As hunger takes over, people do terrible things. There are any number of recorded events across the world where parents have chopped off the limbs of their children and eaten the limbs to survive because they didn't want to kill the children. Imagine, suppose you or me had to do such a thing, and then your child grows up without 2 arms, how do you live with this? I'm saying we should never again drive humanity in the direction of a famine, ever. Because this is the worst possible thing that you can do to human beings. But this year, already now, because of Ukraine war, already 2 African nations have gone into famine. All predictions are saying in the next 4 months' time, 4 to 6 months' time, 350,000 children can die in these 2 countries. But World Food Program, which spent $9 billion last year distributing food, this year they're asking for $15 billion. 2023, they want $22 billion. They already predicted at least 6 nations will go into severe famine in 2022. We always think it happens somewhere else. But wherever it happens, there is something called humanity within us which responds. Unless we close it, lock it up and throw away the key, as many people seem to have done. Otherwise, when you lock up your humanity, it is not only gets locked up for somebody else far away, it gets locked up even for you. Even you shall not experience your own humanity. That's the problem. If I lock up my humanity towards you, I don't want to feel even human towards you because I hate you or I this or that or whatever. The problem with this is, even I shall not experience my own humanity. That is a serious problem. So, we are unfolding a world like this, where it is expected by 2032 to 2035, 3.5 billion people will be water stressed. Water stress is not new to our country. I'm not against movies and stuff, don't think I'm saying something against it, but I did not see too many movies later, at least the not made in Mumbai and made in South India kind of movies, I did not see much. But very early on when I saw, I remember from those old movies, always these ladies will carrying a water pot and swinging, of course, I don't want to do that on stage. And she will sing a song, she will fall in love, romance will happen, because she's carrying an empty pot always. It is also nicely decorated, but in the village, the woman who carries that pot is carrying 18 to 20 kilograms on her head. If you see her, you'll be shaking like this, unable to bear that weight. And she walks a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles to get this pot of water for her family. There is nothing romantic about it. She never sang a song, nor did she swing around, nothing like that happened. It's a terrible thing that a woman has to walk 2 miles or 3 miles to get one pot of water. She can't carry 25 and come home. To carry one pot of water, she has to walk 2 to 3 miles. This is water stress. That means there's no potable water anywhere around. Today, governments are making special efforts to pipe water to every home, whatever, but there are issues behind that you can pipe water for some time, after some time there'll be serious issues with that, because pipe doesn't produce water. Hello? Pipe doesn't produce water, pipe only delivers water. There has to be good water somewhere. Where is the water in a country like this? We have 4% of the world's land and 17.6% of the world's population. This is Bharat. If you make all these people very conscious, very capable, very focused and disciplined, if that's possible to do, then this could be a miracle. 1.3 billion people, a focused, competent lot, boom. But if they're unfocused, undisciplined, unskilled, it's the biggest disaster unfolding. But whatever you want to do with them, whether they're skilled or unskilled, they have to drink water, eat food and breathe air. That right everybody has. Hello? Only skilled people shall we give them oxygen and don't give anything to me? No, everybody needs that. So where is the water? See, this is something it took me a lot to explain during Rally for Rivers. Why I'm saying this is, it doesn't matter, I spoke to journalists for 1 hour, 1.5 hours interview. In the end they wrote, Sadhguru wants river linking. I said, river linking is murder of the rivers. Why will I talk about river linking? You're talking about river linking because they've done it in Europe, because they've done it in United States of America. What you don't understand is those rivers are glacier-fed rivers, ice melting and flowing as rivers. In India, only 4% of river water is glacier-fed, 96% is monsoon, just coming. It never comes too soon. This monsoon water, the rainwater that's coming down, in the last 100 years, the measurements show there is no decline. Actually, in 2021, we had 37% more monsoon than normal. So there is no decline in the volume of water coming down. The spread has come down a little bit. The monsoons in 60s and 50s and 60s used to be anywhere between 85 to 115 days. Now generally it's come down to 70 to 95 days. But the same volume of water is coming down. Mumbai people know this. All of you have a boat? because the same volume of water is coming down in crushed amount of time. What used to be spread out is now coming out like this. There are various reasons for this. There are technical reasons, let me not go there. But the same volume of water is coming. Only thing is, instead of percolating like this, it is flowing on the surface like this. Why that's happened is, to give you an example, in Kaveri basin, I grew up around Kaveri. How I saw Kaveri 50 years ago and what it is today, only 40% of the river is left. Yes, only 40%. Scientific studies say only some 37% reduction has happened because they're counting rainwater season also. But if you take different segments of time, only 40% of the river is still flowing. For almost 4.5 months, it doesn't even touch the ocean anymore. Because we have removed 84% of the green cover in the Kaveri river basin. In the Ganga basin, we've removed 92% of the green cover. We built Indian railways on it. And it took us 50, 60 years to realize that we could make concrete sleepers. Hello? It took 50 to 60 years to realize we can just mold a concrete sleeper for the railways, we don't have to cut the trees. But we removed 92% in Ganga basin. Ganga basin accounts for 25% of India's geography and 33% of India's agriculture. That's what it is. I'm saying these things to you because we are seriously working towards a famine. We want a famine, we're missing it. Because the last famine was, I think 1951 or 52, so it looks like we are missing it, we are working towards it. It's such a large population today. We were just 330 to 340 million in 1947, today we are 1.3 billion. Now if famine-like situation comes, it's not something that you and me want to witness or go through. Hello? Because what is happening now, I know governments are planning, I know they're storing up in FCIs and all this stuff, all this is fine. But what you need to understand is, soil biodiversity is made like this. Right now, on an average, according to UNFAO, 27,000 species per year are going extinct. So it's a slide, it's sliding down. But anywhere between next 25 to 40 years, we don't know exactly when it'll happen, somewhere between 25 to 40 years, this slide will transform itself into a tumble. Once it starts tumbling, there is really nothing we can do. Some scientists predict when the tumble begins, in 6 years' time, about 40% of the world's population can get wiped out, human population. Some who are a little more aggressive on these numbers say, in about 6 to 8 years' time, 60% of the world's population can get wiped out. The problem is not death, the problem is how we die. That's a serious issue. All of us will die one day, that's not the issue. But how we die, how painfully we die, how things happen around us, this will be a collapse of civilizations. Because in Mumbai city, 40% of the people have not eaten food for 3 days. What do you think? You think you can sing? You think you can make a movie? You think I can help people to meditate? Hello? You think so? It'll be a total collapse. Once certain number of people have no way to access food. See, right now, there are unfortunately still people poor enough not to be able to get food, but there is food in the land. They don't have means to get it. That's a different situation. When there is no food, that's a completely different situation. So why am I here painting this dark picture? This is not about the dark picture. It is… People ask me, Sadhguru, why did you have to ride 30,000 kilometers? You could have killed yourself. I said that was the whole idea. Without that killing myself idea, this wouldn't have worked. Because last 30 years I've been talking about soil in variety of ways. I've spoken to bureaucrats, I've spoken to ministers, I've spoken to many responsible people in the world. Everybody says, this is fantastic, Sadhguru, what you're saying, very important, great, great, and they'll sleep. They'll sleep on it. So, I'm not a minister, I don't hold any governmental position, I don't have any official authority of any kind. The only thing I have is people's goodwill. I thought that's the only thing I can play with. Maybe everybody does not understand, maybe more and more videos will come out because we've not had the time to put it out. You will see many situations were life and death for us, for me at least. Because the only way was, if I risk my life, at least people will stand up and do something. Fortunately, they have. 2.8 billion people have responded in the world. What me just flinging my life around is playing yo-yo with my life is good enough for you, or you want me to die for you to stand up and do something about soil? Make up your mind, because really it's like that. I am not just trying to make it dramatic or emotional for you, I am telling you that is the reality of what we are right now. As a generation, we have a huge challenge in front of us, but we have a tremendous privilege that if we act now, we will be that generation which turned back from the brink of a disaster, not a generation which slept through and fell over. I'm saying these things like this with a certain emphasis because humanity has this problem of walking into disasters and then grieving over it. For example, World War I happened. It was a terrible thing. So all the Europeans decided, we will never again fight. That was 1918. By 1940, they were ready to fight again in 22 years. World War II, as if it's a natural progression from 1 to 2. After that, they decided, never again we'll fight, United Nations, this, that, everything happened. Since then, how many wars have we fought? How many nations have we destroyed? How many million people have we killed like this? Going on. And now, I was just appealing to all the European youth, at least take this stand, by 2025, you will create enough awareness in the world, cutting-edge technology should not go into military use. What we have, destruction capability, is enough. What we have right now is enough. At least new technologies need not go into this and create more and more efficient killing machines of various kind. If you hear the kind of weaponry that some of the top nations in the world are working, you just will wonder, what the hell is this about? What is it that they want to do? Really, what is it that they want to do? I can't understand. Because the kind of weapons that they're dreaming of to develop is just insane, total insanity. But that's power. That is the way to dominate the world. If you do not know this classified information came out some time ago. NASA was planning to bore with using nuclear weaponry, they want to put a hole into the core of the moon. You know, all of you singing right from childhood, Chandamama, whatever, they want to put a hole into it and make a donut out of it. Because in the core there is a metal which is 100,000 times lighter than steel and much stronger than steel. So they want that metal. They want to go into the core of the moon. So I'm saying, what is it? What is this life about? For a few years that we are here, yes, we want to live in some comfort, we want to enjoy a few pleasures, we want to be happy, we want to be well. This is a common human desire. But this is going to another place because we do not know how to employ our intelligence for our well-being. So 3.5 billion people going towards water stress means there will be a migration of at least 1.2 to 1.3 billion people will migrate in this world. When migrations happen, what suffering happens to families and people is untold, okay? If 1,000 people die, media will report 1,000 people died. Million people suffered, nobody writes about that. When unplanned forced migrations happen, women and children will take the worst always. If you go and witness what's happening in some of the cities in southern Europe, where young women from Africa are just coming and landing up, they don't know the language, they don't have any skills to survive in the society, they don't even have an ID. What happens to these young women is unspeakable. And whenever forced migrations happen, this is a natural consequence. I want you to just think 1 billion people moving because they have no livelihood on the land where they are. If the land was rich, do you think they would go? If the soil was rich, would they leave this place and go to some unknown place with their women and children? Because they can't even grow the food for their family, that's why they're going. Now all this essentially is because, there's an evolutionary problem. The genetic scientists say the difference between you and a chimpanzee in terms of DNA is only 1.23%. Is 1.23% a great percentage? Hello? Is 1.23% get you anything? No. But that is all the difference is. Physiologically, that is how close you are to a chimpanzee. But in terms of your intelligence and awareness, you're worlds apart from a chimpanzee, and that's your problem. You have an intelligence for which you don't have a stable enough base. So this intelligence is doing terrible things. If you don't take charge of it, this could be… if you take charge of it, this could be the greatest solution. If you don't take charge of it, this is the worst problem that you will ever face. And that's what we are facing right now. Problem of human intelligence going berserk, not being able to employ our intelligence consciously. When you come to this level of intelligence as being human, you're supposed to function consciously. See, the way you are made is like this. For all creatures, I'm just… there's not exact numbers, but generally, for all creatures, nature has fixed 90% of their life. Only 10% latitude for individual expression. Otherwise, they're all same. But with a human being, you have come unformed. Only 10% is fixed by nature, 90% is in your hands, and that is the problem. This is the greatest freedom. You can be whichever way you want, you can make yourself the way you want. But now that has become the problem. Freedom has become the problem. Intelligence has become the problem. Because freedom and intelligence are wonderful things only if you are conscious. If you are compulsive, both intelligence and freedom becomes terrible. Because right now I'm saying this in Mumbai because right now, whatever you're compulsive about, you generally claim it is my freedom. Compulsiveness is not freedom, hello? Compulsiveness is slavery. Freedom means I'm conscious, I can do my life whichever way I want. If you could just think the way you want, right now, if you could just think the way you want and feel the way you want, would you be joyful? Why such a simple thing is not happening? You've not taken your faculties into your hands. Suppose it so happened, your right hand, forefinger, comes and starts poking your eyeball. We should do something about this finger, isn't it? Hello? We must tie it up, we must plaster it, or we must cut it, we must do something. Otherwise it's going to take the eyeballs out. Right now, this is the state of your intelligence. Your own intelligence constantly poking you endlessly, isn't it? Hello? Constantly poking you. But if we take half your brain out suddenly you become peaceful. Yes, intelligence, which is the greatest gift that you have, you have made it into a big problem for humanity, both in terms of personal experience and the larger human activity. Intelligence has become the problem. Can you beat this? This is the only solution, this is the greatest gift that we have, that we have more cerebral capability than any other creature on this planet. Isn't this the greatest gift? So if this has to become a gift, not a curse, we must create a conscious planet. There is simply no other way. If your body becomes pleasant, we call this health. You want it? I heard 27.5 people saying that. From now on, I'll ask you a question. If you say yes, no, or you say nothing, I just bless you. Okay? Pleasantness of the body is called health. You want it? If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. See, that's loud, huh? If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this bliss. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call this success. No, wait. That was not a question. Because to create surroundings the way you want it, to make your surroundings pleasant, you need the cooperation of people who are around you, forces which are functioning around you, the times in which you exist. There's so many aspects. But to create pleasantness of the body, pleasantness of the mind, pleasantness of your emotions and energy is 100% your business. Huh? But to help you, you must be willing. This happened. One day, Shankaran Pillai called his three boys. He called his three sons. I'm trying to speak, don't feel insulted, I've not spent so much time in Maharashtra, so I'm trying to speak like the local accent. He called his boys and said, "You good-for-nothing fellows, do something good with your life. Some good thing you must do." Those boys, Mumbai boys, "Father, what is good, father? We don't know what is good. We don't know what good things are. You don't even know what is a good thing? Do something good." "What, father? What is a good thing?" "Something, go out on the street, if you find an old lady, help her across the street. Some good thing you do." They went out. In the evening they came back, the first boy, he came. Shankaran Pillai asked, "Did you do any good thing today?" "Yes, father, as you said, I helped the old lady across the street." "Very good, boy. You done well." Then the second boy came after some time and he asked, "Did you do any good thing?" "Yes, father, I helped the old lady cross the street." "Oh, you also helped the old lady cross the street?" "Yes, father, you said it's a good thing, so I did it." The third boy came. He asked him, "What did you do today? Did you do any good thing?" So he said, yes, Father, I helped an old lady across the street. What? All three of you found three old ladies like this? No, no, Father, not just three of us. We also called our cousin Ramu. And together we helped one old lady across the street. You fools, to help one old lady, does it take 4 young boys to do it? Oh, Father, you do not know these old ladies, how stubborn they can be. She just doesn't want to cross. I'm saying this story to you because this happened in 1982. I was… once again, after so many years, I'm still on a motorcycle now, but I was riding and I was actively involved in some business. Very successful for those days, busy, and somewhere in between I found half an hour, 1.5 hours break in the afternoon. So in Mysore city, we had this problem that, when we are kids, if you want to trek, we go and trek in Chamundi Hill. It's a small little hill, but when I was 8 years of age, it was like Himalayas for me. So we climbed, we camped there. As we grew up, we cycled up, then we motorcycled up. We want to test our motorcycles, we are on the Chamundi Hill. If we want to have a party, we are on the Chamundi Hill. If we fall in love, we have to go to Chamundi Hill. If we fall out, you have to go to Chamundi Hill. Because all these people, those who think they have fallen in love, they would have written SKP loves TKP. Now when they fall out, they've carved it on the rock, they have to go and break that rock. All this. And if we had nothing to do, we go up Chamundi Hill. So in the afternoon, I have nothing to do, I didn't even think about it, where to go. Simply, my motorcycle just went up Chamundi Hill. I know the hill through and through, so I know where to go and where to sit. So I park and climb up a little bit, and a big rock, a beautiful place. I went and sat there. Till that moment, I always thought, this is me and that is somebody else. I have no issue with somebody, but this is me, that is somebody else. Suddenly I did not know which is me and which is not me. I was sitting with my eyes open and I could not make out where is me, where is not me, because what was me was just like it had spilled all over the place. Then I thought this lasted for 10–15 minutes, but when I came back to my normal senses, 4.5 hours had passed, tears were streaming down my cheeks. Me and tears were impossible, but tears where my shirt is all wet, and every cell in my body is exploding in ecstasy. I had like unbearable levels of bliss, it's almost like you want to just die right there, that kind of thing. Then to my closest friends, when I ask, something is happening to me, I'm just blissed out all the time. Hey, come on, what did you drink? Come on, what did you pop? Oh, you found the mushrooms, where is it, where is it? I knew there was no point talking to anybody, there was no context for me. Then I experimented in so many ways and I discovered if I keep my hands off my psychological process, every cell in my body gets blissed out. I experimented in so many ways and I thought, this is it, I have found the gold mine. Then I sat down and made a plan. There's no fool like a young fool, I'm telling you, those of you who are young. I was 25 and I sat down and made a plan. On that day, the world's population was 5.6 billion people. I made a plan, in 2.5 years' time, I will make the whole world blissful. Because who wouldn't want to be blissful? Nothing to do. If you just simply sit here, you explode. Who will not want it? Hello? Who will not want it? Oh, no. In the last, it's not 2.5 years, it's been 40 years, huh? Because of this motorcycle, half my beard is gone, but it's been 40 years. And incessantly, every day, 7 days of the week, 365 days, 18 to 20 hours a day, non-stop we've been working. Today people say we've touched a little over some 2.3, 2.4 billion people, but that's not my idea of the world. Come on, don't clap at my failures. You try celebrating my failures. I'm lamenting to you that today the population is 8 billion and I know I will die as a failure. That is why, for the Save Soil, I only ask for 50% of the population. Will you make it happen? I gave up the full population because of age and wisdom. Now I reduce the population 3.5 to 4 billion people out of 8. I'm asking you, all of you who are here, all of you have a phone with you? What, the smart kind or the dumb kind? What do you have? Smart. So you call somebody smart only if they're smarter than you. And I'm glad you have a smart companion in your pocket. And this is a powerhouse. You can use it to send a few silly messages, it's okay with me, but not a whole day, okay? Few silly messages per day, all right. But rest of the time you must use this powerhouse because this is the first time, this is the very first time in the history of humanity that you can sit in your home and talk to the entire world. Many great beings have come, many great beings have come. When they came, if they spoke, even 10 people could not hear them. Today, you can sit at home and talk to the entire world. When you have such a capability, when you have such a tool with you, if you don't make this happen, it just shows that you don't care enough. Will we make it happen? So not shouting this evening and going away and sleeping on it, you must keep it on. Our environment minister is here. Till they make a clear policy, it's not his department, it's the agriculture department which needs to do it. But in this state, in the country, in the world, because soil ecology does not respect our state borders or national borders, it is life happening. It's an effulgent life happening across the world. Microbial life, if you look at it, it's such a fantastic phenomena. It's a life phenomena happening at in such a complex and tremendous way, but in such harmony, it's happening. This you cannot divide with national boundaries and state boundaries. States and nations are for the sake of administration. You cannot divide this planet like you cut a cake and I'll take my piece and go. This is not how the planet works. Life happens as a global phenomena, and it's important that you become conscious enough to become that global phenomena. I am asking you, people talk about, what is that, doctors without borders. Are you all beings without borders? This is very important. Your caste, your creed, your religion, your political affiliation, your nationality, your race does not mean anything when it comes to life. These are all things that we create to manage a few social things. But when it comes to life, when it comes to existential issues, these things mean nothing. I want you to understand why soil… I was at the at the UNCCD and also at the WEF, there was something called as Great Narrative. To set the narrative for the World Economic Forum, I was there for 3 days in Dubai for that meeting. They asked me, Sadhguru, if there are 3 concerns about environment, what are those? I said, soil, soil and soil. This is why. I said, because everything is from soil. Where the air that you breathe is from soil, the water that you drink is from soil, the food that you eat is from soil, your very body is soil. 60% of your body is microbial life, only 40% is your parental genetics. I was in Sofia, and this little girl, 8-year-old girl comes to me and says, Sadhguru, I want to do save soil, but my mother won't let me. I said, tell your mother she's only 20%. Only 20% rights she has, that's all she's given. Rest is microbial life. It's there for you to pick it up the more you pick it up, the healthier and saner you will be. Yes. Right now, many of you were, soaking, ingesting alcohol. Now you're also soaking in alcohol because virus. You need to strengthen the life process. It's very important. If this pandemic has not taught you that much, you think you can exist in isolation, it'll not work. Well, because it's so heavily populated, we have to take care about each other, that's a different matter, but you have to connect with life. Now we have renamed it as Isha Rejuvenation. At one time it used to be called as Isha Yogic Hospital. A certain number of doctors from Detroit, this is many years ago, about 15 years ago, they came to visit us, and after 3 days of being there, my office calls me and says, Sadhguru, these Michigan doctors are very angry, they want to leave right now. I said, what happened? We don't know, they're screaming, they want to go. I said, okay, please ask them to wait, I'll see them. So I came and I said, what happened? They said, it is all a lie, you told us there is a yogic hospital, we've seen the whole premises, there is no hospital here. Oh, I said, oh, the yogic hospital. On that day I had about 72 or 73 patients. I said, come, I will show you. And I told them, see here in the garden, in the vegetable gardens and other places, they're working. I don't want to waste the patients, I'm just making use of them. You give them a nice bed and a pretty nurse to handle them, you think they'll ever get well? Every day you put your hands into the soil, walk barefoot, be in contact with life around you, this system will become strong. Don't we see this, that most of the pandemic is in urban areas, rural areas generally is much more subdued simply because of their connection with land. At least do this much, if you have those 2 pots, put your hands in the pot, okay? It'll help. But that pot soil is separated from the rest of the planet, that is the only problem with that pot. So it's important. We cannot exist here as life without being connected to life, because life is happening as one large phenomena. You and me are not separate. If all the insects die tomorrow, all life on this planet will end in 4.5 to 6 years, including you and me. If all the worms die, in 2.5 to 4 years, all life will end, including you and me. If all the microbes die, right now we will all end, because 60% of your very body is microbial life. It's a phenomena beyond description. The top soil scientists are openly admitting they know less than 1% of the species present in the topsoil. When you know less than 1%, you shouldn't mess with something, isn't it? So there is an economic aspect, there is a nutritional aspect. Agriculture is a sensitive subject, and the farm economy is so fragile. If you just shake it a little bit, it'll collapse. So it's very important, it has to be an incentive-driven policy, and for such long-term policies to happen, without people's support, without people's mandate, it will not happen. All of you must remember this. Governments are not elected to do fantastic things. They are elected to fulfill people's mandate. Where is the mandate? You must give that mandate. We are interested in the long-term well-being of our state and the nation. This mandate must come out clearly from 60% of the adult population in Maharashtra. Will you make it happen for me? Oh, shame. You with this smart friend of yours in your pocket, you will do only in Maharashtra? We are around 2.7, 2.8 billion, we need 4 billion. Can I leave it in the hands of Mumbai to make this happen? Let's make it happen, save soil, let's make it happen. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. 12th of June, 21st of June, the journey will end in the yoga center. So just another 9 days. 9 days, 4 states and about 9 or 10 cities and events everywhere. Just stay with the journey and let's make it happen. And also, happy birthday to Aaditya Thackeray tomorrow. We just hold him here for another 2 hours, it'll be his birthday. Thank you very much for being here.